Welcome to Batpixel. I got an awesome video for you today. Do you know what one of these are? Of course you do, right? It's the classic gray N64 controller. But have you seen one of these before? This is a Bluetooth N64 controller by retro fighters for the Nintendo Switch and the PC, called the Brawler64 wireless gamepad. But I want to show you something else here that might give you some nostalgia. See-through electronics from the 90s. You can get them in these versions. You can also get a white version. But I'm going to do a thorough review for these for you today, and how to set them up with Bluetooth because it's different on the Switch and the PC. I'm also going to show you how to set these up on an emulator called Project64 on the PC, just so you know what you're getting yourself into. But yeah, these are awesome. I picked these up because if you use an Xbox One controller for an N64 emulator, you have to use the right joystick for the C buttons, and I didn't like that at all. It felt really awkward for me. Especially in games like Tony Hawk and WWF No Mercy, or Strafe Running and GoldenEye. Alright, I'm gonna unbox these for you. The reason I got both of these colors is back in the 90s I had a gray N64 controller for player 1 and a see-through purple controller for player 2. This one is blue. I went for the nostalgia factor. Now you want to be very careful with this part, okay? What I just did. These flaps are kind of hooked into the box here, and if you just rip it out, the box is going to tear apart. When you first open these up, you'll get a little piece of paper here that says you should charge the controllers for a minimum of 2 hours, and you also get an instruction manual how to set these up with both the Switch and the PC. But what I noticed is inside of this it tells you that you should plug your controller directly into your PC, which you can do with the provided USB-C charging cable. But you can use Bluetooth with PC. There's just a different way to do it. It says on their website how to do that. So I'll go over that later. The USB-C charging cable is pretty long. You get over 3 feet here. I'd say this would be good if you wanted to plug this into this PC like really close to you, but it wouldn't reach across the living room to your couch or anything like that. Okay, so here it is. The Brawler64 Bluetooth controller. It's actually really light in comparison to like an Xbox One controller. It has a little bit of weight to it, but definitely a lot lighter. It does feel really nice. You can tell they put a lot of time into making this comfortable in your hands, but they probably don't have a full team funded by Microsoft behind this. So it's not as comfortable as an Xbox controller or PS5 controller, but it's pretty close. It feels really good. And you know what? It's definitely a step up from the classic. I weighed the Brawler controller at 207 grams while my Xbox One controller came in at 243 grams without batteries in it, and batteries can add an additional 45 to 47 grams on top of that, so it's definitely a lot lighter. The classic N64 controller plastic is just really smooth, but this has some kind of texture that you can't see. You can definitely feel it. There's like a microscopic texture on here. Can't quite explain it, but if you hold this for the first time, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Another obvious difference is they really upgraded the joystick on this. It's probably closer to a GameCube joystick, but it feels really nice and responsive out of the box. It has the red start button like you'd expect, but also for a Nintendo Switch, you've got the plus and minus buttons, but on the top, you also got the controller swap layout button and the screenshot button and your USB-C charging port. Your pair button is down here on the bottom. You use this to connect the Bluetooth. And yeah, the buttons just feel amazing on this, same as you'd remember for an N64 controller. The triggers on the Brawler64 Bluetooth controllers are buttons, just like the classic N64 controller. These are not like the triggers on, say, an Xbox One controller where you have like that slow adjustment that's good for like racing games. Alright, just to quickly show you the differences in the blue controller. You still get the piece of paper that says to charge it for 2 hours, but they put the effort into changing the graphic design on this to suit whatever color controller you got. But also, they updated the back with some facts about the controller as well that wasn't on this one, which wasn't on this one. But yeah, you can clearly see through the controller, which is awesome, and you can see like the little vibration motors in the bottom and stuff like that. Also, these controllers have retro fighters engraved on the top. To turn these controllers on, just hit the home button at the top, and you can see that it's searching for my Asus ROG Ally, but I don't have it turned on right now. But you can see the top and bottom lights are turning on. That means that it's in X input mode. If the two middle lights light up when you pair through Bluetooth, you're in D input mode. Some of you out there, if you know what D input is and you'd rather use that, go for it. Now I'm going to show you how to connect these through Bluetooth, whether you're using a Nintendo Switch or a PC. If you're using PC or like Android or something, just make sure that your system's searching for a new Bluetooth device, and you have to hold the green B button on the controller while you're holding the pairing button on the back of the controller at the same time. If you don't hold the B button, then it won't connect. If you're using a Nintendo Switch, make sure that the Pro Wired Communications is turned off in the system settings, and then hold this pairing button for 3 seconds and the lights will blink on here and it'll link up with your Switch automatically. You can reset the gamepad if you want. You can even change the vibration mode or power adjustment. The range is 0%, 30%, 70%, and 100%. Just keep in mind that will affect how long your battery life is. It also states in here that you can get around 10 hours of battery life before you need to recharge. To turn the controller off, just hit the pairing button at the back and your LED indicators will turn off. To turn it back on, just hit the home button. That'll awaken your Switch as well. This is how to set the controllers up in the Project64 emulator. If you click Options and then Configuration, under Plugins, I'm just using the Project64 input plugin, but there are others that you can download and try out if you like. Now under Options, go to Input Settings. This is where you can set the controller up. You can see that mine's being picked up as a Bluetooth X input compatible device. Just make sure that you had the blue check mark for controller is plugged in turned on. That way it'll pick the controller up. And just go through and click the little squares next to where the text is, and then click the buttons on the controllers to set it up. And make sure you go over everything and click Apply and then OK for player 1. And you can do the same for the other players if you have more controllers. But yeah, these are so awesome that they're epic. And if you want to pick one of these up, I got links down in the description. And as always, like the video and share the video if you found it helpful. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot and I appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.